So in the event that we have been getting a lot of these new releases of the same characters, you know, just like we got Ultra Magnus in the SS'86 version, the same thing with Siege Springer, which is the most recent one we have. Um, and of course, now we got the most like just brand new remolded Optimus Prime. A lot of people have been asking about SS'86 Rodimus Prime. Now we know never say never, and we know for certain how extensive that mold is in general. I never would see them doing a retool, because if you think about the Earthrise Optimus Prime, that's a retool of Siege Prime. So yes, it was basically the base of the mold was Siege, whereas the new SS'86 Optimus Prime is just a brand new mold, similar to what they did with Ultra Magnus. So in the case of Rodimus, he was a brand new mold on his own. He has a lot of engineering in him, but like Siege Springer, well, he's not fun to transform. He's like the bane of existence in transformation. So I'm wondering if that would be the case. But someone asked Evan Brooks if there would be an SS'86 Optimus Prime. Rodimus Prime. And his response was, that depends. Probably some sort of redeco, if not slight partial. So it sounds like, yes, they would probably retool him for Studio Series 86, even though he's only in the movie for 5 minutes. But it's possible they could. And more or less, it'd probably be like Springer, where they may do some changes to the mold. They may give us the Acon coloration, or they may give us the end of this, where he's not quite as dark, because in the cartoon he was maroon for the majority of it, but at the end of the movie he was still more reddish. And this is the animation model we would see throughout the cartoon, basically because the studio Acon, they drew the colors, they drew shadows as colors. So with the shadow over him, they drew him in maroon, because the darker colors. And this would be the color basis for him through a lot of the episodes. Very few would actually kind of drift back to kind of like the end of the movie, but for majority of this, even going into the rebirth, heck, even in Headmasters, Japanese canon lore, when he becomes Rodimus Prime, if you ever seen the episode Birth of the Double Convoy, he goes back to these colors and all. But we're going to look at some of the original releases, such as the G1, which always was released in the reddish orange colors. I would say this is as close to the end of the movie as we can get. Everything else is basically hot rod. But there's some other toys that actually kind of closely get to the Acon model, which is what I'm wondering if they're going to go for if they were to do an SS'86 Rodimus Prime. And I think they are going to do one, because they're doing Galvatron. So this is the original MP9, which you could convert from hot rod to Rodimus Prime. Now, he had the dark legs, but he still had kind of the reddish, not quite the Acon model, but very close. More Bennett, I say closer to the movie at the end. But yeah, he has the dark legs. I could see them. This still is kind of close to what we got with Rodimus, but I could see them kind of going that Acon route and maybe giving us like a gray face. But they do have a lot of different colorations to go with. And like I say, as we go down the line, each of these get closer to that actual Acon model. This is the Legends version of the Titans Return Hot Rod, which incidentally, they gave you a Rodimus Prime head with one of those gift sets that came out during Titans Return. And then also with this one, they do match the colors closer to the Acon model. Now, this is supposed to be Hot Rod, but technically he has more of a Rodimus look as opposed to the Titans Return version. Same thing with this version. Now, this is the re-release of the, if I'm not mistaken, it's called the Target Master Hot Rodimus. This one does turn into Rodimus Prime, I believe, but he lacks the trailer and everything like that. But yes, he does become, you can extend his legs, I believe, to make him like Rodimus. I'm not 100% sure. I gotta go back, but I believe you can. But his colors are very much like the Rebirth. as well as Headmasters. Now this is another one that I have, which is also called Hot Rodimus. This was the United version. Now this one, again, rebirth colors. Also, if you watch again the Headmaster series, this is the colors he becomes. He literally becomes this color when he gains the power of the Matrix again. It's so weird, but you know it's Japan. And yeah, watch the episode. He gets darker, maroon, it's more gruff. And this one is very close to that. And I own this one, and I'm glad I own it. Now, of course, we're going to look at Rodimus. And like I said before, I'm sure there are some improvements they can make. This one guy got his mistransformed, of course. But definitely there's some improvements they can make. Because when this was released, you got to think this came out 2 years or a year after Earthrise, Optimus Prime. And I want people to understand that, again, Earthrise Optimus Prime is Siege Prime just retooled. So it's really not so much of a new mold. It's just new parts. What basically what we're doing now, as we remold like Springer and a few of the characters where we remolded, not brand new like Ultra Magnus is brand new, and of course Optimus Prime is brand new. But the same thing even with RC. RC got the same similar treatment by taking, you know, parts from the Earthrise and majority of Generations to make, you know, hey, a compromise. But she's still basically, if you look at her, she's basically Generations with better legs. So when I look at this picture, I see a future here where we could possibly, because we know we're getting Galvatron. And I don't think it's just going to be a straight repaint. I'm sure there's going to be some fixes here and there, you know, with the difficulty, because they are great molds, but they do have a difficulty in transformation. And I know people, well, I could do. Listen, you know how it works here. The majority stated, look, Rodimus, yeah, he's one of those. I mean, literally, I like right now with the new Springer, he is so much better to transform because of the retooled chest. And I think that Rodimus could get some type of a, just maybe in the chest a little bit. But I honestly think we're probably just going to get a repaint and a few retools here and there to kind of match the newer SS'86 aesthetic, which kind of reminds me of what they did with Masterpiece when going from the MP1 to MP10, which was the new standard after MP10, and now we're MP44, which still borrows a newer standard, but it's still basically the same standard that was given from MP10, where everything is realigned to match each other. So what are your thoughts on what you think we will get with a new remolded SS'86 Rodimus Prime? I'm hoping that we do get, and the reason why I say that is because we've been waiting a long time for certain characters to get, you know, a redo treatment, and Rodimus is one of those. Just ask around. I mean, he needs it a little bit, just mainly in the chest, maybe. So that might be something they did with Springer. So again, what are your thoughts? Leave them down in the comments below. Super Robot Ed, bring you more news and reviews. Until then, we'll see you soon. Bye-bye. I don't know if I can take all these anymore.